You seek the shaman's wisdom.
I do.
You have licked the back of a blue and yellow tree frog.
I have.
You have gone on your vision quest.
I have.
What is your spirit animal?
It is the hyena.
Now that you are one with the hyena, you are worthy of my wisdom. What is your question?
Should I have taken the Knicks job?
The Knicks? The New York Knicks? You took that job? Man, that's a terrible job. Oh my God, why would you do that? How many frogs did you lick? Melo keeps chucking up shots. Tyson Chandler's old, and Monchumba has no kneecaps. My uncle's a Knicks fan. He knows that's a terrible job. Man, I can't believe you took that job, man. You ain't the Zen master no more. Get out my hut. I'm gonna go watch the box score.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Collins for box score. Welcome to the Box Score in our stunning DirecTV studios. I'm Brock in Los Angeles, joined by always the wonderful Danettes in Milford, Connecticut. Guys, it's the day after St. Patty's Day. Everyone in the front row feeling okay?
Feeling okay. I was a veteran maneuver. I went out for like a happy hour situation, and I was in bed at the normal hour. I had a few pops though.
I was not responsible. I definitely stayed out way too late, but I'm kind of used to it by now. It's sort of, this has become my normal daily feeling, so it's really not an issue.
We're professionals.
No, well, we're all professional here. Fritzi, the biggest professional. You had a rough one last week, but you made it through Monday. But then came today. You made it through. You made the mistake of trying to contribute, and that didn't turn out so well.
Now, you might have schools say, well, we'll lose money if we do it. Well, you're Indiana. I would play. Yes, Fritzi.
And it would be really humbling for the team to be playing if they're not in a fancy venue or it's not exactly a big crowd. I don't see what the negative would be for them to experience what that's all about.
All right, thank you, Fritzi. All right, 877-3DP show. Email address, DP.
Why is that so funny?
Well, because you're saying the obvious.
I wasn't parroting anything. I was using my own words, and I don't know why that's cracking everyone up like that.
Yeah, that didn't go too well. I thought I was jumping on something, a theme that Dan was getting to about Indiana, and that they should have accepted the offer, and I just wanted to add my part in, and he saw that as not really contributing anything original, and that I guess I was flirting with a parroting situation, but for whatever reason, I felt the need to say that, and Dan, as he often does, dismisses me with a thank you, Fritzi, which he might as well just say, that was awful, why don't you not
Did someone hit the buzzer?
rest of the show?
Well, front row, you guys seem to be enjoying this the most. Was that the case?
Yeah, we did, for multiple reasons. I got to get into something else in a minute, but while Fritzi was getting ready to deliver that gold, I heard like, about 6 times. So I kind of lay out because I know Fritzi's about to talk. And being very snarky and mean-spirited, I sent an IM to Seton and probably to a couple people in LA. Fritzi's about to talk. He just did 5 throat clears.
And the thing that makes it so funny to me is that there's this sort of hand pump thing, the throat clearing to make sure that Todd can give his line, without any type of choking situation. And then Dan's reaction to it is just, great, Todd, thanks.
But
and
you know
just
what?
moves right on. The whole thing from start to end is just unfairly comical.
I think I figured out something, though, that Fritzi does, and I'm being serious here, that may affect a line like that. He didn't really make a statement, and he didn't really ask a question of Dan. He kind of said something and then let it go. I think if Fritzi would have said, do you think the players think that playing in that kind of venue is beneath them? I think if he would have asked a direct question to Dan like that, Dan would have been like, no, but why? And then Fritzi could have come back and said, no, I disagree, yes or no. I think the problem is Fritzi kind of just jumped in with like a light statement instead of a direct question of Dan on the topic.
Fritzi, did you screw that
that's
up?
quite fair. If I would have
Probably.
Yeah, if I would have posed that as a question and say, don't you think they would have gotten something out of it to salvage the season by playing, around a small crowd or in a less than glamorous venue? That would be a wake-up call to them to try harder next year, or something where it may have come across as more of a contribution to have him respond to if I put it in question form than just made a statement.
Tighter than that.
Okay. Fritzi, your exchange with DP led him to make a major announcement on the show. Looks like it's time to update your resume.
So you're Captain Obvious or you're the parent? Which one do you want?
I don't know. I'm
Okay,
debating.
okay.
They're both wonderful titles. If it's obvious that I'm going to rephrase what someone else said, then it's kind of parroting and Captain Obvious.
You know what I'm
going to
do? I am going to promote you to Major Obvious.
Major Obvious.
Yes. You're
Well, that hotel chain. where he stole the other
Hotels.com.
one.
Yes, they took Captain Obvious,
So
so
we
now
gotta
you're
move on from
Major Obvious.
It's nice to get
You got promoted.
Oh, wow. I mean, I think this is a good day. I haven't gotten a promotion since I've been here. Seton, I don't think. You got year one, and McLovin's been the same thing. Fritzi got promoted. We were discussing it here. Should he have a dual role like Captain Obvious and Major Issues?
See, they're right, exactly. And Major Obvious is okay, but Captain Obvious is someone that will live forever. Major Issues, though, is certainly someone who's been around and has really just come to the forefront, though.
And by the way, one thing you missed, Brock, while that video was playing, Fritzi said, I really love reliving this. Not only did it happen to me once, it's happened to me again.
Yeah, but, someone's got to stick up for Fritzi here.
I'm waiting.
Actually, I will. I'm gonna tell you, if I'm in the car, that was probably the 3 minutes of the show I'll walk away with, because Fritzi did stand up for himself after Dan threw.
While sitting.
Yeah, he did basically. Fritzi, I was surprised that you actually, because often Dan just says, thanks, Todd, and then just moves on. But this time you're like, enough is enough. That was a relative stand.
Because you all know I'm not Joe confrontational, and everyone uses it to their advantage for some reason, because they know I'm not someone that's looking to fight and claw back and get into some kind of verbal exchange.
Confrontational?
But after a while, someone pushes your buttons enough, then I don't know why they feel a need to do that in the first place. But if you're being tested, or your manhood's being questioned, or you have to snark back, if you will, then we all have our breaking points. So
to be fair, we did not question your manhood today. That is in the rundown for Thursday.
Thursday. I'll be looking forward to that.
So wait, was Dan doing all those things you just said, or was that the front row you're talking about?
No, just in general. You get poked and prodded, but eventually a little poke and prod becomes a bruise, then becomes a scar, and it's it takes its toll after a while. I try to be a good sport about it, but there are times where I'm like, I bite my lip. Do I get into a whole fight about it, or just grin and bear it and show that I can take it? So I chose the latter.
Yeah.
And the buzzer.
I don't.
Make sure we get that.
I don't think you're so Cobra Kai today. I think you would have a problem sweeping the leg, which might be a problem. Things didn't end there for you, poor Fritzy. You went to calm down in the box, and as expected, DP just piled it on.
I'm going to stay in a good mood. I'm feeling good. Everything's good. I don't know how. I thought I had something, interesting to add. Obviously, I didn't, and somehow I was parroting back or rephrasing something that.
Here, I wanted to give you some Kleenex in case you started crying in there.
So I was trying to add to the conversation. Next thing I know, I'm being promoted to a Major Obvious instead of Captain Obvious.
See, this is great. Anytime Dan actually listens in on your box through that hole where the camera is, you're onto something. And I'm glad you get it out here, because actually, I don't see this as a Karate Kid thing. The movie that jumps to my mind, Brock, Full Metal Jacket, Vincent D'Onofrio. I just feel like you're getting a lot, you got to get that frustration out. I think you did some of that today. I'm proud of you, buddy.
It's a work in progress, but that's just not my way. I'm not comfortable, even if I see the other guys getting into an argument that I'm not sure, what's going on. It makes me uncomfortable. So for me to actually be one of the participants in a verbal exchange, it's just I just prefer not to do that.
Brock, you got to tip your hat to Dan for giving Fritzy the tissue and telling him the purpose of the tissue is for crying using his tears. It's a family show. You just hand him a guy tissue. Next thing you know, we're R-rated and we're off the air. Yes. We're on channel 515 on DirecTV.
Especially in a small booth like that, a small booth. It's too familiar, probably.
In a dim setting,
He's used to putting quarters.
Yeah.
In a certain place.
Yeah. I was waiting for a curtain to go up with there was no one dancing behind a curtain.
Like Times Square in 1981 in there.
Oh, no.
I was cranking the handle.
Yeah, you were.
No show in there.
You're not making this better, Todd.
Yes.
Cranking.
Please.
Probably shouldn't refer to crank.
Oh, my God. Get out the Purell, would you? Okay, coming up, more tears from Fritzy, and we'll see how McLovin is doing a day after being bagpiped. Stick around. No doubt a very special St. Patrick's Day yesterday for McLovin. Are you scarred for life?
Actually, most of my life, like half my life's over, so I don't think it's really a scarred for life situation. Sadly, Brock, I'd like to tell you this is a situation I've never been in before, but I've lived in New York a long time. Things happen on parades you're not proud of.
You were trying to keep your eyes closed, but you can't help but take a peek.
Yeah, for some reason I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Some morbid
been
curiosity.
Here. Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Well, you were nice enough to identify someone had Peyronie's disease up yesterday. Okay, you brought up the fact that your wife knows nothing about what happened. What measures do you take to ensure that she doesn't find out things like this from the show?
I never mention embarrassing things about myself. I want her to think of me as sort of, she thinks I'm like, you know, pretty stand-up guy at work, kind of well-respected.
Ivy Leaguer, editor.
Ivy Leaguer, content contributor, that kind of thing. I throw out like content and paradigm and words like that, out-of-the-box thinking, robust, just to try and impress her about it. She has no idea what really happens.
Maybe the term perineum might be in use next dinner. Do the rest of your wives watch the show frequently, and do they have any input on what goes on?
They do, and what we've learned over the years is if you try to hide something you've done, it's worse than just being forthcoming. So whenever we have, let's say it's a supermodel or a swimsuit model on the show, I'll say to my wife, I'm like, oh, we had a good show today. Brooklyn Decker was on with Chrissy Teigen. You saw it. And she's like, oh, yeah, I saw it. And then if there's that pause, yeah, I saw it, pause, you know you might be in for something. And I just keep my head down in my food until I'm called out.
My wife is a little sneaky about it, where hey, how was the show today? Good, whatever, this and that. And occasionally she'll be like, so on the show today, this happened. I'm like, well, oh, you are watching. You know, I can't really tell. It seems like she doesn't watch every day, and then all of a sudden she's like, yeah, dude, I know what's up. I saw you say that, or heard you say that, saw you do this, whatever. And like, ugh.
Yeah, my wife tends to tune in more, as Paulie was saying, when it's something with the women, and it's like, so how was dancing with Kate Upton, or your long hug with Genevieve Morton? How'd that go? And I know you're under a lot of stress and guests, and you're all worried about that. But it's, basically, you guys aren't living such a terrible life, hanging out with all the sports figures and supermodels. And sometimes she'll be critical, like I hadn't heard enough at work, and she'll be like, well, why would you put somebody on the phone with that crackling sound? I'm like, do I really need that from you? After I just drove home an hour. I got it from the guys on national radio and TV, and my wife's waiting at the door. I'm home 30 seconds. She's like, that was a bad phone line. I don't know how you...
You say you're like, well, I picked it up and it sounded good at first.
I try to give the same explanation. It's got to be Seton's fault. He does something with the board and makes it the cracking sound to get me in trouble.
And I'll tell you, I have nothing to do with that. I would never tell his wife to criticize the phone line. I wish I was that mean-spirited.
Should we get your hearing checked, Todd? Because I don't know how you could possibly not hear that. Then all of a sudden it magically happens on the air.
I don't think you need to go in any more doctors. Let's change subject a little bit. Seton, you said you celebrated the Irish holiday with tacos and margaritas. And looks like you might have had one too many, judging from this shot of you here today. You don't look so good. Is that how you usually wear your headphones? You look like you're DJing in Ibiza.
Yeah, I know. I actually get a lot of feedback for that. I guess it is kind of weird that I wear my headphones askew, as I would say. I just don't like to, I like to have one ear off so I can hear the guys, and sometimes Dan will talk through the speakers off air, and I like to hear that. But it's just uncomfortable for me to put it the other headphone like to the back, so I just like to put it to the front.
When I see your headphone like that, I feel compelled to say something to you because like you sort of can hear the back row, and I have a show within a show because I talk to myself and verbally agree with what Dan says. So I figured that's why maybe just here. Like, yeah, good point. You talk to him, Dan, that kind of thing.
When Seton's wearing that way, then I'm very comfortable that the show's going to run very smoothly because that means he's, which he normally is anyway. He's in a relaxed mood and he's not, worried about anything that's going on and everything is under control. So, if he's in that kind of silly mood where he's wearing his headphones funny, everything's going to sound right on the air. So.
All right, guys, well, let's take a break here. Coming up, the tears start flowing in the man cave, and it's countdown to D-Day for McLovin.
The Panthers said that they didn't even want him on the team anymore, so they fired him.
Why did they fire him, Daddy?
Because they said he was too old to play. Who are we gonna cheer for on Sundays now?
Welcome back to the Box Score, where we rejoice over the tears of a child. Glad to have you along. Guys, great clip of a distraught young Panthers fan on the show today. Paulie, did you find the video today, or did you find that video before or after booking Steve Smith?
After. He'd been booked actually for a few days now, and it kind of just fell into our laps. Dan noticed it first and said, let's have it ready for today's show. It was a good call.
Well, the former Panthers did join the show today and weighed in on that video and provided some comic relief.
People have seen this video and has deemed him an unfit father. How could, they said they've seen this video and they believe people calling him, told him what kind of person he is. And I said, welcome to my life.
I was really impressed. We've had Steve Smith on probably 5 times in the past 12 years. And when we first had him on, he was not as cooperative of an interview. Now this guy's fun, telling us stories without being prompted. As soon as we went to that topic, he said, I've called the dad. He kind of filled in the blanks of the story instead of just saying like, yeah, I heard the video, I feel bad for the kid. He's a good storyteller.
Well, Seton, you said he was getting a lot of heat for being a bad dad. Is that the case?
Well, yeah, I didn't really like the video, to be honest with you. I think the kid screaming and stuff is kind of funny because I relate to that as the father of a 4-year-old boy, and I get a lot of that. But I didn't really like the way the dad sort of set the boy up and pried it out of him. I thought it was really mean, actually, and pretty unfair to that kid.
Well, Seton, you and DP tried your best to reenact the video. Let's take a look at your acting skills.
The Panthers fired Steve Smith. Yeah, they let him go. We got to start finding somebody else to root for. You're good. Yeah.
I'm all welled up
I
again.
know, I can tell. I can tell. Those are actual tears.
That's an actor right there. If there's any casting directors who needs a grown man who can cry like a 4-year-old boy, boom, I'm available.
Just so you know, Seton, you can't see it there because you were so focused on your craft, but I called up on my screen in case you needed help crying, a picture of Ramil Robinson of Michigan hitting a free throw against Seton Hall, and I was going to point towards it, but I was afraid you'd break into anger.
If you could have seen me, okay, no joke, all right, 1989 when that happened, the Seton Hall's inbounding the ball, okay, they had one last shot, okay, and I was crying, I'm like this, please hit the shot, please. I remember kneeling and on my couch like this, please hit the shot. They miss, I was sobbing, absolutely sobbing. 89, I would have been, I was either 10 or 11, and I was absolutely sobbing, and I remember my dad going, Patrick, relax. It's just a game, okay? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. They lost. Oh my God, what a loser.
Oh.
That was Fritzi 2 months ago.
While we're on the topic of crying, we were digging through our archives and we came across this creepy clip of Fritzi crying while DP talks to him like a baby.
I don't want you come round here no more. I beg you for mercy. You don't know how strong my weakness is or how much it hurts me. I'm gonna wake up missing you. Wake up missing you. Oh, you feel the pain from the song, honey? Big tears.
Oh my goodness! I don't know what to make of that. That's I should have known that was going to end up coming back to haunt me. That was
why did we do that?
That was frightening. I don't know if the guys were laughing at me or with me, probably at me, but that was quite a moment there.
It's great for all of us, guys. Let's take a break right now. Coming up, we'll see how McLovin is preparing for his big day on Friday. Stay tuned. I'm Phil Jackson. You're watching The Box Score, or as I like to call it, The View on Peyote. Welcome back to The Box Score. This is The Box Score Bar. McLovin, big day with the bench press is coming Friday. Any update on your training?
I've been told by professionals to sort of lay low, don't wear out. I'm actually going to see a strength coach today after the show for some more pointers.
Paulie, as a producer, what's the best case scenario here?
Best case scenario, that's a good question. I don't want him to get injured, but I also don't want there to be no incidents. If he goes down and just clears it out, now long term that's great because he could be cocky and say, I'm the strongest guy in the room, he could hold that over us forever. Now, but I want some type of incident, and I don't know what that means.
Maybe a sports hernia, Fritzy?
That'd be great.
I've been there.
I already had a sports
little
hernia.
frog eye action.
I am actually suffering from a hernia. Like I have so many. I do.
You get a matching one. You get one on both sides.
What do you have in your shoulder too?
I have shoulder tendonitis, by the way, which is a huge issue. It definitely limits my range of motion. Also, my right knee has been flaring up. My back.
Here come the excuses.
And also the weights that we have, I don't know if they're Olympic level quality.
It's going to be so dramatic when you actually do this. With all these injuries, you're going to still overcome all the obstacles and still.
Real concern. This floor. Say I do and it tips over. This is not a sturdy floor.
It's a slant.
There are people right underneath here. There's a barber shop right under where we're doing this.
And the floor itself, besides it not being sturdy, it's actually like a little bit of a slope.
Yes, this
it could get ugly.
Could get bad.
Okay, well, we asked the boss what he would like to see happen at the end of the week in this edition of Boss's Thoughts.
If this was just radio and you were listening, I'd want to hear some screams, shrieks, girlish cries from McLovin, but it's on TV, so what can I get? Nobody wants to see him lift 200 pounds. Nobody's rooting for him. So they're rooting for something tragic to happen. I would like a thud right on his sternum as he was trying to get it up, thud, and then we would eventually get over there to helping him. It'd take a couple of seconds. That would probably be good TV. So I'd get some girlish screams and then a thud on his sternum. Good radio, good TV, good producing.
Yeah, first of all, logistically, the spotter's going to be right next to me. What is he talking about? It's going to take some time to get over there.
It sounds like he wants something to happen, and then eventually we'll get around to getting the bar off of you.
And it's not just like a little paper cut. It's 200 pounds coming down on your chest. That's like a real potential injury.
Yeah, you may want to talk to Dan about what he has in mind as far as spotters and how far away we're all going to be in case you get
He'll be in the building.
I completely disagree with Dan, by the way. I think the nation is rooting for Andrew to put up the 200. And I think people would rather see Dan sort of eat crow, if that's the expression, and Andrew put the 200 up rather than him struggle and not get it.
I agree. This would be, screw you, Nate Silver. This would be the nerd moment of the month.
Yeah.
Anyone could have a website. Pop up 200.
Yeah, let's see you, Nate Silver. I'll after this, I'll squat 438. How would that make you feel?
Like that. That's what I'm talking about.
Or is it 538?
Whatever it takes. 220, 221, whatever it takes.
McLovin, I think most importantly, are you going to be wearing an expensive pair of glasses when you do this?
I am. I've been debating about whether I dress up for this. Do I wear like the Fritzi Zubaz and like a bandana on my head and like
tank
that
top
terrible like cut thing, like one of those guys at the gym?
You got to get the thin string strap tank top with the curved back that back in the 1984 days.
Or do I go with like my typical sweater vest tie combo?
All business.
Okay. Fritzy, who's on tomorrow?
Reggie Miller and Rich Eisen will be among the guests tomorrow and working on a couple of possible special surprises, so stay tuned.
Awesome. Thanks for watching The Box Score. Tune in weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern only on Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Peace of mind.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees. Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey! Thanks for watching The Box Score. Holy cow!